This episode is sponsored by SKS Luxury Appliances. If you've spent time around a Signature Kitchen Suite, one thing designers notice right away is the technology. The interface feels familiar and intuitive because it's the same engineering that comes from LG, the company that produces the systems used in many of the luxury vehicles people drive today. Clients recognize it instantly and know how to navigate it, but SKS is also investing in designers through their Designer Rewards program and by sponsoring IDC. If you're specifying kitchens for serious cooks, give SKS a look. Learn more at sksappliances.com. SKS, built for people who truly love cooking. Hi, I'm Laurie with To the Trade for Interior Design Community. I have Juliana here. Hi, Juliana. So excited we
Hello,
did,
how are you?
because now you're a huge celebrity. You're a style spotter for High Point Market. So are you excited? First of all, I want to know.
Yes, I am excited. It's such an incredible honor to me as someone who I've been in the business for going on 9 years. I just think that it's just an incredible honor to be part of this team of amazing people. We all have kind of a different story and a different business model, and some people have, totally different aesthetics, but it's going to be so great to get to some people I've never met, to get together and meet everyone and see what everybody's attracted to at market. I
I know.
don't think I've missed a market um, since the first one I went to in 2018, with the exception of one. I missed this one last year. It was my 30th wedding anniversary. So
Well,
we were in Scotland and
having a good time of your life.
watching it all with a little FOMO, because market's so fun, and just honored to be part of it.
Yes. And we were just talking about how some designers don't go to market
Yes.
and that it is such a shame because the product lines are so interesting. And even if you do a lot of custom or you buy retail or you do things that are more local, having those relationships are so valuable to know, like they're really high quality made Benchmade products, and the education is top notch, like across the board. There are fantastic panels. And then I don't know about you, but I come back every time I go to market with a renewed love of what I do and energy around it. Like there's some sort of something in the High Point water or something that is like you come back feeling like you can just take on the world, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's so true, because all of us are creatives in our business, and it is so easy. You put so much of your heart and soul into every bit of your project, every bit of your business. You're
Yeah.
constantly dealing with every aspect of your business, that you can get a little burned out.
I
And
so.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times my assistant and I have headed to market because we're leading a tour or we're doing something, and I'm like, "Ugh, I feel like I'm on autopilot." And then I get there and I'm just immersed in amazing creativity and all of the new products displayed so beautifully in the showrooms. And it starts giving you that little burst of, I don't know, you're just rejuvenated and you're excited and you're energized about your business again and the possibilities and what's available to you. For me, market is absolutely something that I'm not going to miss. We sell products, and I need to know what they feel like. I need to know what they look like. I need to know how heavy they are. I need to be able to see how things sit.
Yeah.
And
Torque
you
test
can't do a
and that.
sit test
Yeah.
from the internet, from
No.
online shopping. You can't do it. And so when I have clients that say, I like a softer seat, or I like a more firm seat, I know exactly what I'm going to source. And I want a deeper seat, whatever it is. And you know how it feels, and you've sat there, you've done the work, you've done the legwork, and it just makes you a little more of an authority on what you're recommending to your clients.
Yes. And I remember it was probably last market. I was talking to a brand and they couldn't believe, I partnered with another show that is also a High Point is partnered with Design Edge. And we've been touring around the country. I actually just did a project with Ashley Grigg from High Point Market.
Yay! I
We were
love her.
talking a lot. But one of the designers I met there was saying the designers who don't come to market aren't serious designers. And I was like, you would be surprised. There are some
Yeah.
really serious designers that don't. But the of the coin of that is that I think designers who do have a lot more product knowledge just because you're seeing more.
Yep. You
Well,
have
they
product
tend to
you
be a certain person, like a demographic of designer, that it doesn't stop at High Point. You go to KBIS, you go to Milan, you go to Paris.
Mhm,
You're somebody who wants to have the total picture, you know? You wanna be a specialist that knows all the other specialties as well.
mhm.
So, I think that is a certain type of designer that is really connected to product knowledge. And I personally think that makes you more educated about what would be best for the client.
Right.
So,
I agree, and I meet designers who don't go to market as well. It's obviously everyone's business model is different and there's no judgment. I mean, it's
no,
an investment to go to market. I always
time
joke about
and money, right? I
it's
mean,
time
it's
and
free to
money.
attend, but it
Yes.
is costs you in your flight and your hotel and
Mhm.
your food.
Mhm.
But they do feed you quite well
And
there.
you're away from your business and
Yes,
although a lot of us are working while we're there or we're sourcing product. I mean, during COVID, I was in Vanguard Furniture on FaceTime with a client in a mask, trying to source product and determine what she wanted. It's such a great place to be, but I think that you are kind of missing out if you're not there. And it isn't just the product knowledge. That's the biggest part of it, but you're looking at trends and you're looking at what's next and you're looking at inspiration. And to me, I don't care who you are or how long you've been doing this as a business, as a creative, you need rejuvenation and sometimes you need to just be immersed. And I literally leave market feeling energized and like, oh my God, that product was so amazing. Where can I put this in my next project? I just think it makes you better.
I do
And it
too.
yeah. And and
More
and like
informed,
you
you're right.
mentioned.
The more informed part is I remember a year, I think you probably remember the year, it was probably 2021-ish when boucle was everywhere. That
Yes.
off-white boucle was everywhere. And everyone was all the designers I was talking to were like, "Wow, they're boucle literally every showroom." So it had the same off-white boucle. And I was talking to a group of like really experienced designers and they were like, "Well, we know not to use boucle anymore because literally everywhere." And
Mhm.
I don't want to, this is caught on as a trend. So I know I want to stay away from it because it's going to be
Right.
dated soon. It's like that kind of information. You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't
No.
have that take
Right.
without being there because you wouldn't be able to see it collectively. You'd be
Exactly.
just seeing pictures online and you're not getting like the bird's eye view of it,
Yeah.
which
And
is
I
huge.
and I think it's in the same vein. Sometimes you see what's coming and sometimes yes, you can see the repetitive like this was the popular last year and it's still popular or whatever. But I think that it also gives you a just like I think Maison Objet is that way. You get a little bit of a what's next. And you're like, wow, I haven't seen that. That's really interesting how they're using this color or how they're using this texture. And I love it. And if you don't see it and you don't feel it and you're not kind of immersed in it, you don't have the leg up on your competition or you don't have the ability, in my mind, to steer your client to something that is going to be fabulous for their
Right.
next
Right.
project. Right.
Well, I feel like if you know what's coming next,
Hmm.
and as a designer, you have this you have this superpower of being able to future proof their house. Well, design trends seem to cycle fairly quickly. We all are online. We see images really, really fast. And as a result, trends come and go really fast, really
They
fast.
do.
The brands have a hard time keeping up. We have a hard time keeping up. But I think as a designer, it helps you understand what touches the trend but isn't gonna be oversaturated, have an oversaturation point, so that you are able to advise in a way that is good investment for that client. So it's not gonna be dated in 10 years. It's not
Right.
gonna be dated in 5 years. Some of these things are solid surface materials. It's not easy to rip it out and do a
Yeah.
new thing or just throw it away, or they're investment pieces that shouldn't be thrown away. They are bench-made products, you know? So they should be passed down to the next generation. You don't change it because the fabric is you just
Yes.
reupholster it.
No, no, no,
So
and there are
those are the things that designers do in my mind is like having that eye on what will hit its saturation point to
mhm.
avoid. And that adds so much more investment dollars into those clients because you're able to make those really smart choices that future proof their design.
Absolutely. And you can determine, like, if you're dealing with a living room, what is going to be the biggest percentage of your spend in that space because you want to invest in something that is timeless, but it is the best quality and it is something that's being used every day, that it's incredibly comfortable
Yeah.
and the best fabric and
Yeah.
the most, you know, that it's going to withstand your dog and your toddler or your grandchild or whatever. And I don't think you can do that in a fully informed way unless you're immersed in that.
Yes.
And I also love that, at least in my opinion, and everybody's got one, I think 2026 is really, trend is really not a trend. I really feel like that people are feeling permission to kind of have an individuality in not just the way they design, how they're using antiques or vintage pieces, making things incredibly personable and honestly not shoppable,
Right.
right? I
Right.
feel like the days where people wake up and look at Instagram and look at the same design over and over and over, it's kind of over for
Yeah.
me. I mean, I think that I love antiques. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. And I love being able to create a design plan that is completely unique and it is timeless. And I think that people are really sick of the cookie cutter minimalist look that went on for so long, everything very neutral, everything very, subdued.
The millennial
I think
gray,
yeah, or or the boucle, whatever. I
right?
I
Like
I
it felt
feel
like
like
prison for a little while there. I
yes,
think it
yes.
matched our general mood about the world.
Absolutely. But I think that people are embracing color and they're embracing patterns and they're embracing things that they love because at the end of the day it's what you love that makes you happy. And I think your home is your sanctuary and it should be someplace that's inviting and beautiful and it doesn't have to look like everyone else's.
No, in fact, I have been trying to put together a study and I've been following a few designers. I'll check with you after if you want to be a part of it. But it is where we take, actual homes that have been designed by designers and we track sale prices of those
Hmm,
houses because I have
that's cool.
experimented with it on a small level and I was finding those houses sell faster if they've had a professional interior designer and they sell sometimes fully furnished, which is really interesting for a high ticket, high designed home to
Yeah.
sell fully furnished and what an investment that is in your own, even if it is your style, if it's done well by a designer,
Mhm.
not just your
Mhm.
style done by you, it does send tell it it tends to sell over asking. It tends to sell faster. It tends to sell fully furnished because of
That
those
makes
designers.
total sense to me because, you just think through homes that you design, right? You design them to feel connected and you design them to feel intentional. And it's different when you're walking into, say, a vacant home. And we've all done it and gone, what the heck is going on here? And you're
Yeah.
starting to calculate in your head, I'm going to have to redo this weird kitchen. I'm going to have to redo this weird bathroom.
And how
Or
am I gonna
why
get
did they
a sofa that fits this weird proportion,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Why, if you could walk into a home that feels incredibly beautiful and it's everything is specifically sized and in a perfect scope of the room, why wouldn't you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, saves it's a shortcut for a
Yeah.
lot of people, and I think it's undervalued as far as a selling technique for the designers to be able to
Mhm.
sell that that's also what they deliver, and
Yeah.
it gets people over that fear of that HGTV, everything needs to be designed for the next buyer, because really truly you can do a very personality filled home that has a lot of color done by a designer who will really teach you where to put that color in tastefully, even if it's, something even garish that you would think that
Mhm.
wouldn't be so great. The way designers do things, it really can increase the sale value, even if it's something unique and very different.
So true. I
Yeah.
think that's a great point.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. And I tell people, if the general public has heard of your brand, so like if you're other designer who's out there shopping retail, if the general public has heard of the store that you're going to, if most people in the country know of it, then that store has spent a lot of money on marketing. And those marketing dollars are not in the product. And so you're by nature getting an inferior product because the other brand is not spending this huge money to become a household name and therefore is putting that money back into the product. And that's what designers who don't go to market are missing out on, because in order to please the masses, you have to make a lot of sacrifices, and you also have to cut a lot of corners because you're making things for the mass market and you're cutting your cuts. And it's you and I both have a financial type background, so we understand like this is how business is done. It's like you have a conservation of product pricing because you can buy a lot of a certain thing and you make corners. It's value engineering is done. So that is what happens. And so as designers are going to market and just finding brands that if you didn't go to market, you might not know about. You're exposed to brands that are to the trade only and have no purpose of being marketing themselves dramatically online, or they are in showrooms, they are in to the trade places, but really getting to know those brands. If you're shopping retail, I just think it's an eye-opening experience to see the quality differences. I would love for every designer who's doing that to go on Facebook Marketplace, buy an RH sofa down the middle, buy a Baker furniture, split it down the middle, look at the inside. Tell me you're not getting better quality.
We saw that done in a demonstration with hickory chair, and it's astounding.
It's eye-opening.
It
It's
is.
eye-opening.
You
I
get what you pay for,
literally get
literally.
what I paid for. Yeah. It it's like when you see cardboard in some of the furniture,
Mhm.
you're just
Yeah.
like, "What is going on?" And that's where that product knowledge changes the game for you, because you talking to a client is entirely different than a designer who hasn't had those experiences yet.
Well, and you can also explain the price difference, right? Because some people balk a little bit at price points for some of these products, but when they understand that they've got a lifetime frame warranty, they have a lifetime core warranty, they are 8-way hand tied, you have a limited warranty on the upholstery. You don't get that walking into some retail store
Mhm.
and have some teenager come home and jump up and down on something and break something. It's not going to be replaced. But the craftsmanship is pretty amazing. I had, and I won't say the name of the brand, but I had a custom sectional made for a client, and we delivered it and installed the house, and it took a week, and everything looked beautiful and everything felt good. We always sit on everything. But about a month later, the client was like, this cushion is sitting a little weird. And by literally taking a photograph of the cushion on the frame and then taking taking a picture on the frame, everything felt okay. Their product warranty department could tell just by looking at the photo. What we initially thought was a cushion core issue was a frame issue. And so they're paying to ship the entire thing back and have it reworked, which is a little inconvenient for our client. But at the same time, just
Who
they
does that?
stand behind
Yeah.
everything.
Can you
The
imagine?
receiver's going to come pick it up.
Yeah.
They're like, at first we thought we were going to be along just a minimal repair thing, but just by looking at it, they're not satisfied with the integrity of the frame,
I love
which has never
hearing that
happened.
story.
I
Yeah.
get to be the first one that this has ever happened to, and yay!
Yay.
But it is amazing, and I do see this vendor standing behind their product, and they were like, "Just let your client know that we are committed to making this right." And at the end of the day, if you'd gone to XYZ retail location, that would be a huge problem that's gonna be your problem,
Yeah.
not the vendor standing behind it.
Right. Right.
Because who knows? This could have happened in transit. It could have happened. Somebody could have thrown a box off of the
Sure.
freight. That
Sure.
happens. You
Sure.
see it with mirrors and things being damaged, but sometimes there's internal damage
Sure.
that you cannot know about until a little bit goes into it. And at what point does anybody stand behind product that's been in someone's home for a month, right?
Yeah.
So good to know. And they're like, let her know not only are we going to handle this, but this is a lifetime warranty on this piece,
I
this frame.
love that. I
So yeah.
love that. I mean, the brands really do listen and they really do stand behind the product. I
And
just
that's the product I want to sell, right? I
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah,
I don't want this problem ever again. It's knowing that that's the kind of service that not just I will get, but my client will get because this reflects on the designer. This
yeah.
reflects
I
on
mean, let's just face it. The brand could have taken the look at that photo,
Mhm.
known it was a frame issue, and said to you, "That's weird. That's the cushion. I'll just send another cushion.
Right.
Fine." And just, well, it must just be you. It must be the flooring or whatever there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of pointing fingers
Yeah.
in along the chain of retail sometimes.
And in the
So, yeah.
chain of a claim,
Yeah,
right?
in the
Let
claim
me see a
yeah, 'cause
picture
is
of
it
the
the
box. Let me see
is
a
it
picture
the
of
yeah,
this.
there's the receiver, was it the shipper, was it this person, was it that person, instead of actually fixing the problem. So, the problem was it sat funny and made the client uncomfortable. That was
And
the actual problem.
it was just one little weird
Spot.
in piece that,
Yeah,
but if you're gonna sit on it, you're gonna figure it out.
yeah.
And the crazy thing too, timing is everything, right? She has a daughter getting married. We do not want to take all of this out of the house right now. So they've waited. They're like, whenever she's ready, even if it's this summer when she's traveling, we'll arrange to pick it up and it'll take 3 weeks and we'll get it back. So
Wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's working with them in a way.
Hmm.
That's really great service. Really, really great service. And that's part of the relationships you build at High Point is, dig in. I was writing an article about High Point because I think that there's a lot of tips and tricks because I think it can be lonely for people coming the first time. It's a sea of
Yes.
people, but if you don't know anyone, it can feel like you're alone in a crowd, which is the most uncomfortable thing I think most people are thinking they'd get through. So joining, here are some tours you can join because I think tours are the best way to get to know people right away. You just zoom in, you've got a reason to be there, and you've got a whole group of people who are, sometimes it's first time in market tours. So now you're all meeting people who are first time in market, and these can be friends for life situation. And I was talking about the comfortable shoes and how to navigate the day and how to my very first market, I always tell the story, it's pretty funny, but I took a lot of video content and photos, and I didn't take a picture of the showroom to bookend the photos. So when I got back, I had no idea where anything was from. I was
You're
like,
like, where is this cool sofa?
where was it? I have no idea. So my number one tip is bookmark your photos in a showroom with taking a photo of the showroom sign before and at the end of all your photos so that that's where I was. That's where that thing is from because you'll just keep it in order.
I love it.
But I was an idiot. I literally was like,
No, it's so overwhelming.
yeah,
My my first trip to market, I was the girl who went by myself and I knew no one going. And it was so intimidating, but I booked my hotel through High Point Market, so I knew I could get on a shuttle. People sometimes don't realize that there's really nowhere to stay in High Point. You're
right.
pretty much staying outside of the city of High
Greensboro, something
Point,
like that. Yeah.
Greensboro. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a 20-minute parking's a nightmare. It's so much easier to be able to just hop on the shuttle, get there, and leave. But that day, the first day I was waiting for the bus, I met a girl. Her name is Noelle Gatz, and it was her first time to market. So she and I were like chit-chatting on the bus every single day of market, going, coming home. Let's go do this. She's so sweet. And we became fast friends on Instagram. And I've actually been on her podcast now.
Great.
But it was our first time to market, and we made a friendship. And she's in New Jersey, I'm in Houston. It's not like we see each other often, but an amazing person. And now I lead the insiders tours for people that are not new designers necessarily, they're just new to market.
Yeah.
And we always take big group photos. We go to all of the favorite showrooms. I get a photographer friend of mine to follow us around, get headshots of everyone there so they if they want them. And I'm friends with all of these people that I've led
Yes.
on tours, and they still text and say, where are you going to be? When are you going to be there? So people that experience market for the first time together, I think do form a bond. And if you're going by yourself, an insider's tour is the
Yeah.
best way to do that, and
I agree.
I think I've been doing it for a few years now, and it's actually one of my favorite things because you get to see market for
Yes.
the first time through other people's eyes, and
And that's part of Interior Design Society, correct? That's that
no, no,
no,
I
no?
do it
That's the High
through High
Point one?
Point Market. Yes, for
Okay.
High Point Market
Okay.
Authority, and, they offer an insider's tour for people that are new to market for the first time or
Yeah.
haven't been in a while.
Yeah.
And then also this year, I'm doing a hotspot tour as part of the Style Spotter program. But I love the insiders tours.
Yes.
They're
They can be
literally,
very I'm just telling like, they can be very grueling, right? They're a full day, and
well,
you're staying on a schedule or a half day. There's a half day and a full
technically,
day, right?
they're mine is a half day, but we meet at 11 and we're finished at 5.
Okay.
But then we have a cocktail hour at the point, so that's fun. And
So fun.
yes, but we have lunch. I mean, we're getting the vendors that I notify that I'm coming, these wonderful tour guests are showered with swag,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and it really is friendships made. You are pretty worn out by the end
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah.
and, but I do the same thing you're talking about. I email my tour attendees, "Here's my tips. You can be beautiful from here down, but it needs to be sneakers on your feet
Yes.
or you're gonna
Yes.
be miserable."
Yes.
And there's no need to bring anything heavy, a laptop, anything heavy, because you are going to have a shoulder full of vendor bags, and maybe you're grabbing fabric samples or whatever, but
You're gonna be
you
weighed
don't need
down by the end of the
anything.
day no matter what.
No, you're gonna be worn out and your shoulders are gonna be tired, and you don't need to bring a lot of stuff. And I tell people that show up with stuff, you can check it in the market hall in the
Yeah.
big building,
Yeah.
because you're not gonna have a good day if you are. And the other thing, don't take the big fat catalog.
No.
Have
No.
them mail them to you because,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't wanna, it's just miserable if you're doing that.
And
And
it's
then not
okay to
to,
turn down the swag you don't want too. Like,
yeah, it's
it's not
hard.
gonna hurt anybody's feelings if you
Yeah,
say, "I don't want that cup. I don't want that tape measure. I don't want" if you're gonna throw it away as soon as you walk out of there, just say no. It's fine.
yeah.
Let the manufacturer keep it.
And look at the High Point Market app is amazing
Oh, I
because you
love it.
can look at it day by day.
Yes.
And what I like to do is to find out what are the panels or the educational, because you never can stop learning. I don't care if you've been in business for 5 minutes or 50 years. I think there's always something, man, especially with AI and all of the changes that are coming. You have to plan your trip around some of those things. So then I'll look and say, "Oh, okay, this cool speech is gonna be at this showroom, then I'm gonna plan the rest of my showroom visits right in that neighborhood." And
Mhm.
then maybe the next day, the educational event is at the point, and then you can plan everything around that. But and don't miss the fun stuff either. We're all so tired at the end of the day. It's so easy to go, "I wanna go home. I need to just get off my feet." But on the way out, stop at the fun stuff. Stop at
Yes.
the gatherings,
The
because
cocktail hours, the go to a
yes,
dinner with some friends, like, this is your only chance to be kind of at camp with a bunch of people who love the same thing you do. So,
and
your chance.
the
Yeah.
relationships that you may already have, or the rep that you're just meeting, these are the people that, like, when I was talking about the sectional issue, the first person I called was my rep, and she was like, "I'm on it." They take your call because they know you, because you've built a relationship with them for years. And, even if you're, sometimes you're just worn out at the end of the day, but you're like, I should stop in there just to say hi," you should.
You should.
You
And you
should.
never regret it at the
No.
end of it. At the end of it, you're like, "Thank gosh I did all that stuff that I
Well,
met all
and
these
you've
people and I got to see I catch up here,
yeah.
catch up there."
And you've made this monetary investment to get there.
Yeah,
So just do it all.
just do it. Just do
Yeah.
it. Yes. Yeah. I feel the same way about KBiz and High Point. Like, it's just
Mhm.
like, it's a fire hose of information. And I know even myself, and I'm an extrovert. So I am not a person who gets easily like overstimulated, but I know introverts are much more easily overstimulated. And it's okay. There are quiet little moments you can take for yourself to rejuvenate if you're one of those people who needs to sit down in a showroom and just like zone out for an hour. It's fine. No one is forcing you to have forced communication all the time, but it really, that overstimulating thing, it's a thing for some people, and I feel it too, even by the end of the day, but I never regret having done it. So when it's kind of like working out, like you're like, I don't want to go work out. I don't want to do that. But then you do it and you're like, thank God I did that. I feel
Yeah.
really good that I did that. So that's the thing. Even if you feel like it's too much for you at times,
Right.
force yourself in
Right.
there because you won't regret it in the end. You really won't regret having done it.
No.
All of
And
those
there are
moments.
some great showrooms. Some of the larger showrooms are an easy place to kind of disappear a little bit, sit
Sure.
down. I can tell you, I think some of the best food is at Hooker.
Yes.
The
Right?
best view is at Hooker to
I
look
know,
out
Hooker has a deck
right.
out there, and that deck
Yes.
is hardly ever used, and you can go outside and just, like, sit on an outdoor chair that's super comfortable and check your phone and out if you need to, and you can bring your food out there. It's so great.
Get
I
some
love Hooker.
sunshine.
Yes, get some
Well, you start
sunshine.
feeling like it's like Vegas, you start feeling like you're in a Habitrail,
Yes,
you're
yes, yes,
but you can kind of get that vitamin D and feel
yeah.
better, and, like you said, just take a moment and put your feet up and, get rejuvenated because it's a long day for sure, but I
I'm
think that
speaking at
if
Hooker
you
on Friday.
I love it. I'll be at
Yay.
Hooker on Friday at 11 with the Insiders Tour.
Yes,
But it's a great place. There's so many other showrooms that I could mention, but that's a good one if you just
that
need to
is a
sit
good
down
one.
in the
That is a
quiet.
really great
Yeah.
one. I agree with you. I think they have a good buffet. They
Yeah.
have a great outdoor space. They're pretty fantastic. I love the eye candy. Make sure for me, it's like, it's a successful market if you visit 5 brands that you like or already have a business with, or if you're new, establish 5 businesses.
Mhm.
And 5 should be like, I'm going to try to explore and find 5 new contacts, 5 new people. I'm trying to figure out if I like them. If I don't like them, I'm going to sit on everything, get to
Mhm.
know them, talk to them. And then like artsy things, like try to find 5 brands that are just like little small brands that are kind of unique that have like little artsy things that might be great additions. Layer in a bit of education, layer in a little bit of fun, and there's market for you. I mean, it's a good plan to make sure you've gotten something out of it. And if that's all you can do, then that's all you can do, and that's okay too.
Right. I think you're right. I think that, going to your go-tos is always good to see what's new and see what's happening and get new fabric or whatever. But having a day of discovery is super cool. And just
Yeah,
walking, if you're going to a different neighborhood that you've never been to, and you're looking around and saying, huh, usually too busy to walk in here, but I'm going to walk in here today. It may be your hidden gem of the whole
yeah,
trip.
yeah,
And I want to pump up a little bit 313 space, which is one
yes.
of my favorite
I love
little
the 313 space. Oh,
off the beaten path kind of a experience because you can look at vintage and heritage, antiques at Schwung, and you can look at art. You can look at really boutique little booths that have all different kinds of offerings. One of my favorite incredible custom family owned businesses, Thompson Traders, is there. I
yes.
love they're
Yeah,
in my house. I love them so much. But you can see things that are not so commercial,
yeah,
right? You
yeah.
can see things that are a little more,
Like a little brand from London and a little brand
mhm,
from Germany and just like
yep,
cool little artisan brands. It's
yes,
very arts and craftsy.
yeah,
There's lots of really artisan, like real artisans, I think, would
And the
you know?
lighting, the natural light in that building is rejuvenating in itself after
It
you've
is.
been
It
in
is.
huge
You
mammoth
could spend a full
showrooms.
day in there. There's so much to see in that
You
building.
really can.
Yeah.
And the other kind of not to miss thing that kind of gets lost, I think, in the shuffle is the at Market Square is the antique and design center that opens up
Yes.
Thursday,
Yes.
a day ahead of everything else. And man, Thursday's the day to go see it.
Yes. Because things get taken. Boom, 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 you
Well,
know?
and like I'm from Houston, and so I'm an hour and a half from Round Top. So I've been going to Round Top before I was a designer, just as a girls' trip with friends when I was in my 20s. But it a lot of the people that show at Round Top show at the antiques market. So you will get to, if you don't get to go to some of these other kind of shows, you can go and see the same vendors there. So I think it's a pretty cool thing.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
really I mean, there's something for everyone, depending on your style. You really can map it out ahead of time. The app is essential. I really think the app gives you, shuttle instructions and walking instructions. So if you are somewhere, I drive in. I don't us I usually Airbnb, and
Mhm.
I usually book my Airbnb, like, right off that as soon as markets ends, I've got my next Airbnb reservation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty quick. I also think that is necessary for dinner reservations at some of the
Yes,
bigger
it
places
is.
like Proximity or Green Valley Grill, the 2
Yes.
faves. So doing those things are kind of key. I like my own car because I like to go get my stuff for the morning and,
Mm.
and I have I have only one thing that I don't share with people, and that's where I park because it's free.
I have a secret parking place too, and I won't share that either. We'll talk offline.
So that is but everything else is like everybody and really you can find one. I'll tell you the way to find free parking spots is Google Maps. Look on Google
Mhm.
Maps, zoom
Yep.
right in, find a little side street that you think you could get to one of the shuttles real quick that is more residential and there you go. You can it isn't a one way that that
Right.
it's got
And
residential
bring
traffic.
cash because some of these little lots are cash.
Some of them are cash, so
Mhm.
20 bucks usually to park
Yep.
for the day.
Yep.
So 20 bucks will do it, and that gets you a lot closer,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've done that because 'cause I'm like, I've got stuff and I don't wanna
Mhm.
we're doing 2 big things after the panel. I've got on Saturday in the afternoon, I'm doing a gallery tour at Left Bank from 2 to 5.
Fun.
I know. We're gonna do some watercoloring, and we're gonna have a real discussion on Left Bank does a neat thing. I don't know if you know, but you can customize any of their art or their wallpaper by color, which I feel is like really allows you to think about how you price it because it'll be custom. I
Right.
also think it matters because you won't get bored of it. Like when we see our same thing that is popular out there, and if doesn't have a color change, I feel like people get bored faster if they're seeing it over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
wallpapers that became really popular, we're talking like the cranes or what
Yes. Yeah.
time we
Yeah.
see it over and over and over again, we're like instantly like, "Ugh, I'm so bored of this after the 10th time I've seen it."
Yeah. Yeah.
That isn't possible if you customize it.
Yeah. It's so unique that it's so unique it's against it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because you've seen it and you know it. It doesn't you can't confuse it. But, yes, I love Left Bank, and I've worked with them for years and done exactly what you're talking about. I love the offerings that they have. They have a great quick ship program too.
I
So, like,
do.
if you're dying and you need something, to come quick, you can, but I love that you can customize things.
I've been to their manufacturing factory.
Yeah,
It's a machine. It's seriously like from department to department, even the really like, they're
right.
creating real art there too. It's fast. I mean, they work I think
Yeah.
something like 2 or 3 shifts in some cases, and it's just they've got 2 massive, massive, huge buildings that are next door to each other. And it's just it's a well-oiled machine.
They also have incredible customer service too,
Yeah,
because this is also some of that transit damage issues that happen in transit, and they immediately spring into action.
right.
we had a piece that was custom sized and very large, and I think it was mishandled in transit. I'm freaking out because we waited a long time to get it. Well, the turn time on getting that replacement shipped was phenomenal.
Ugh, love that. Love to hear
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
we're doing that, and then on Sunday, we have our party at Curry that we always have.
Yay!
Yay! We're doing a garden party. So I bought this dress, like, I wanna say 2 years ago that I was, like,
Yeah.
dying to try to wear, but it's like it's a dress you need, like, the right occasion to wear it,
And
and
this
so when
is
they
it?
said garden party, and I was like, "I have the dress. I'm gonna ta wear this dress because 'cause it's got tiers, and it's floral, it's pink with flowers all over it," and I was like,
Oh,
"This
you're gonna look beautiful.
this is great. I'm gonna wear that dress
Yeah.
so much," and then we bought these floral crowns to give everyone. So,
Fun. How
yeah,
fun. What
yeah.
and this is what day?
Sunday, that one is 4 to 6. So,
Okay. I'm
yeah,
gonna add it to my calendar.
yeah,
Come
we're gonna have
see.
wine, and we'll have all the food items, and then we're gonna have, like, these florals for everyone, so that'll be fun.
How fun. This sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I just love the little touches, they just came in, we processed them here, and, it's like, I can't wait. All these
Oh, that's
things
so
that we
fun.
as we get ready for market are just
Yes.
so great, but I do want people to think for a second. I think that one of the things that designers miss, and if they've spent a lot of time going to market and not really thinking about it, that every brand that's there, their only way is really to sell through you. So, and this, as much as it's so beautiful and it's so welcoming and everyone is so wonderful and they have food and wine and all the things for us, we have to remember that they have a whole manufacturing facility behind the scenes, and this is their way to get sales. And so, thinking about, really being loyal to the brands that supply us, and because they need us right now. There's a real shortage of and they need designers now more than ever. And so, and if we want these quality artisans to still exist, we have to support them. So, putting that
Absolutely.
out there.
No, and it's so true. And I remember during COVID, and I will name the brand because it just speaks to the the true, I guess, the lack of people coming into the trade, that something that is passed down and the knowledge is so you can't just AI it, right? If
No,
someone's doing 8-way hand-tied furniture, it's something they have
three
to learn.
generations.
Right, right. And we had, when all the COVID craziness happened, and we were working on a project in Dallas, and we had, I think, almost a whole house was Vanguard that we sourced. And some of the delays were because these incredibly talented, there's like 5 people that can do, their 8-way hand tying, were very sick. There aren't people coming in behind them. There aren't more of these people just champing at the bit to be in the industry and learn this as an apprentice. This is an art form,
It
and it's
is.
something that is used to be generational. People would do what their father did or their grandfather did. And we saw this in Italy when we were with IDS in Florence and visiting Bellevacqua, and looking at the machines and all of the handmade, hand woven products that are being made by 5 women. And there's nobody else. I think that by supporting these incredibly, in this case, American made brand, a family owned brand, um, you're not only getting quality, you're not only getting people that back up what they do, you are supporting these amazing technical geniuses that are making this furniture, right?
They are. They are. And they pour their heart and soul into this. I mean, really trying to show off what they do. They care so much, just like we do. It's another industry of people who really, really are so emotionally invested in what they offer.
Well, and the
Yeah, the
quality,
quality.
you can't reproduce this. I mean,
No,
it's a
no.
human, it's a human
Handmade.
touched, handmade, it's not off of the boat, right? It's
No,
something that's
no.
incredibly
And they didn't cut corners everywhere they could. They didn't, the solid wood, base. It is,
right.
hard wood. It's not, they're not cutting corners, every bit of material in it is the highest quality material
Right.
that they possibly can get their hands on. And so that's what we want to still exist, and a lot of that is available at High Point, and we want to make sure that we are loyal to our brands that are trying to support the design industry in every way that they can. We are fully supported as interior design community by brands. We don't pay it. We have a free membership for designers, so we're fully supported by brands who care that we educate the designers.
It's
That's how
amazing.
much that matters to them. So
Absolutely.
they really know that you need business advice. And so that's why I support IDC. And, so we want to support them back. And there are some brands that are not sponsors, but I care about them. I
Yeah.
care about those people. This is it's generations of family, a lot of family owned businesses that have worked really, really hard to keep the level of quality high and
Right.
didn't sell out into, you know, lower and lowering and lowering the value of that furniture by mass engineering. And they could have. I'm sure when big e-commerce companies came out, they absolutely could have said, "Hey, sure, I'll cut corners,"
Right.
and they chose not to. They chose to sell really high quality product to our trade. So we should be supporting them back.
Absolutely. And that's what designers are going to market for, right? We're looking for something that you can't just buy walking in the store. We're looking for something that you can't source by going online necessarily, although some of the brands definitely are available to the public. It's how you present it or how you customize it
Yes,
that
yes.
makes it different.
Semi-customized. And the other thing that is interesting about that is I have a lot of designers who have local customized options. And one of the designers I had a really long talk with about this was Jeannie Chung, because she also does
Oh, yeah.
tours for years. And she was also a founding moderator at IDC. But Jeannie and I were talking about what a shortcut it is to do these semi-custom, because they, even though you're making it, if you're changing a few things or you're changing the fabric or you're doing something that's making it customized, a company still has experience with the sit and how the back should be positioned and how that should work. And they have fundamentals nailed down. So even though it's custom, it's semi-custom in the way that they're taking a plan and they're adjusting it slightly. They still really are covering you on all those fundamentals. So you're not going to ever get into this situation where you are making something that will not work, like structurally. And that's huge, because I know designers that have lost enormous sums doing custom and then it just didn't work out. It's the first time someone's ever
Oh,
made it.
yeah.
When you're talking like that, it's the first, and even though they're really great experts out there, sometimes it's the first time they've ever made that. And they're not really sure if it's going to be structurally engineered properly. And having that tried and true, and those High Point brands, they've got it nailed, and they will tell you, that's not going to work. This is going to work. Just like you would for your clients. They kind of have that
Right.
nailed down. So I think that's really interesting. Talk a little bit about you, because I want to close out with a little bit about you. Tell me about your firm and how long you've been in business and what your aesthetic is and what you love about design.
Well, I've been in business I guess this year will be my ninth year in business. Design is a second career for me. Obviously, I'm not 25 or 35. I kind of stumbled into the design business. I'm one of those women that definitely love design. I've always enjoyed my favorite thing when I was a kid was getting to tour like historic homes, and still now in Europe, going and looking at historic places and understanding why some of it is still gorgeous and timeless today. I've always loved absorbing that. And I think travel is such a huge influence on the way that I design. But short version of a long story, I did a lot of projects that were almost like silly in the sense that I wasn't practicing design, but people would want me to do things for them and I got hired to do a commercial airline hangar. And it was family member that had bought a hangar that wanted, pilot headquarters, and he had a little small airline, and I want offices and lobbies, and I love your house. Will you do this? And what is the budget?
Yeah.
I actually
You
partnered
got
with a
sucked in.
girlfriend. Yes, I partnered with a girlfriend. I felt like a total imposter, and she was a designer, and I said, "Hey, I have this much. This is the budget. Do you want to split the profit with you? Do you want to help me do this?" And I learned a lot from her, but then just did the things that I loved, like showcases of homes. I did a lot of this stuff for charity. My favorite, children's charities we'd raise money for.
I love that.
But we got hit by a hurricane here in Houston in 2017,
Yes.
Hurricane Harvey. My house wasn't flooded from the bottom up. We lost the roof with the tornadoes that were associated with Harvey. And we just kind of got soaked from the top down. We had 50 inches of rain in 2 weeks. So it was enormous problems when you don't have a solid roof after a tornado.
Right.
But I ended up we moved out of the house. It had to be basically torn down to the studs. Everything is soaked. When the windows, kind of pop with a tornado, all the seals are popped and it's raining down from the roof. The walls get soaked and everything in the walls is soaked. And Houston without air conditioning and heat is a fast, mold track, right?
Right.
So, I mean, but it wasn't just me. It was thousands, tens of thousands of people dealing with this all at once. And we moved everything out and I remodeled the house. And my husband and I were like, we're not moving back in. Don't want to do that. Don't want to
Right.
be here anymore.
Right.
Too large of a home. We're empty nesters at this point in my life. And he said, but we've got to do something. There's all these houses on the market. And I called a staging company and I'm like, can you come and put some furniture in this house so we can list our house? And they brought like apartment sized furniture in to a 6,500 square foot house.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, my husband said, just go buy furniture, do whatever we need to do to get this house on the market. We had moved out of it. And I staged the house and had fun doing it, but at the same time, didn't do it on purpose. I just did it to sell my house and
Right.
had realtors call and a good friend call and say, who staged your house? Will you come stage mine? And, when I told them that I had done it. And so I started a business. I got an LLC. My husband's a business owner, used our attorney, called the bank. Really, it spiraled kind of quickly because then after about 60 or 90 days, I can't really remember exactly back then, we started having people in the neighborhood say, will you help design the home? Or
Right.
we'd had homes that were staged that had sold and said, we love what you did here. Can you come and do this for us? And so it just got a little out of hand. I mean, I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
I felt like an empty nester in a second chapter of my life. And I had no idea that this was going to I just was doing it to help people at first, right? It was
Right.
chaos, but I've always loved it. I've always torn my houses apart. I've built houses for myself. And I guess I'm lucky that people like my aesthetic and
Well,
they like
9
what I
years.
do.
9 years. I think people like it. I think you're fine.
But the first thing I
And these were
did
the
after
worst 9 years ever. If you're gonna come in.
I know, right? Got to do COVID and do out of town jobs. Out of town, I worked in New York City during COVID, and then I worked in Dallas, and I was just
Ugh,
like, ah. But I've
nightmare.
loved it. I've had
You've
a
been
fun
hurricane, tornado, COVID,
yes.
recession,
It's been
tariff.
amazing. I've had so much fun.
Galore.
But I don't think that I would do it if I didn't have as much
No,
fun
you
as I've.
love it, or you wouldn't.
I
And this
do
was
love
meant to
it.
be. I find some people that just always should have been in this industry and they just didn't know until they get sucked in, and then it literally just pulls you in and you don't really want to leave. It's just such a great industry. It
It's a
really is.
great it's a great industry, it's a great community, but literally after the first year actually was the first year of the business, the first thing I did was go to High Point, and that's when I met Noelle in 2018 because I knew what I didn't know, Lori,
Yes.
and everybody can learn something, but I definitely wanted to learn everything. I went to every educational panel I could listen to. I listened to Juliana Ewer about business processes and was like, cool, I'm doing that. Yes, I'm doing that. Oh, I need to do that. Someone else was speaking about contracts, and I have a great attorney, but you can always add things. I think that I've added things to my contract because of crazy people that I've
Yeah.
dealt with.
Yes, of course.
It's
No, it
always
happens.
evolving,
Yeah,
right? It's always evolving.
it's always
But
going to. Yeah,
yeah, but I credit High Point Market so much and Interior Design Society so much
they are so
for
great. Yeah, I love
I'm
them.
the
They're
I'm the
so great.
president of our Houston chapter here, and this is an organization that does really nothing but give back to their members, and I was so mentored by so many people that had so much more experience than me. I was kind of taken under the wing by people that kind of helped guide me in my journey, and I credit market and IDS and mentors and friends that turned something for me that was just not a plan into a business that I love.
Right. Right. Oh, well, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Juliana. We're going to make sure that everyone follows you. And of course,
Thank
High Point
you.
Market will want to share this too. Thank you for coming on. This was fantastic. I mean, what a great, inspiring story. What it means is if this is your passion and this is what you love, there is a way in. And there are people there to support you, and they're at High Point Market.
That's right.
Thank you.
And I'll see you there.
Yes. Thank you. Bye. This episode is brought to you by Curry & Company. Designers, you know the moment. You walk into the room and the lighting stops you in your tracks. Chances are it might be Curry. Curry & Company has built its reputation on pieces that feel sculptural, collected, and timeless, from hand-finished chandeliers to statement lamps, furniture, and accessories. Their collection is top-notch. If you haven't explored their newest introductions, take a look. Visit curryandcompany.com,